Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. This evening we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Adi Lila, Part 1, Chapter 4, entitled The Confidential Reasons for the Lord's Appearance. Okay, before we read the text 29 we did last time. So, who is presenting here wrongly? It's 30 today. Okay, what did we discuss in the text 29? Last Wednesday. Anyone remembers? Yes.
We spoke about Yoga Maya is the internal potency of Krishna. It projects that he is the Supreme Lord and performing past and future.
Okay, we spoke about Yoga Maya, which facilitates the pastimes of Krishna. Then?
we discussed that we should be elected with the knowledge of spiritual topic, like we should know the essence of whatever we are doing, otherwise we will be misguided or will commit offense.
Okay, so we should know the essence of the spiritual process.
I give you an example of this temple. Like we come to temple, the main essence is the deities.
Okay, we should know the essence. The essence are the deities or some other things in relationship to spiritual practice. We should know the essence, otherwise we will miss the essence. Okay, anything else?
You said to get educated about spirit, apply and rise in bodily conception.
Okay, we should be educated about spirit to rise above bodily conception. Because if we don't know about the spirit, we'll always remain on the bodily platform. If you're on the bodily platform, how will ever advance in spiritual life? Yeah.
So the knowledge, what is knowledge? Knowledge means to distinguish between spirit, matter, and the controller.
Okay. Anything else? We'll continue today. Okay, if anybody who feels cold? Few people feel cold. So what to do? We can put it on a fan. It doesn't have to be cold here. Huh? Somebody can adjust this. And then maybe we can switch it off now, and then if it gets, if we don't get air, we can put it on back again afterwards or something like this. So somebody can keep on adjusting things. Because we all have different bodies, having different sensations, having different experience. So we can keep on adjusting. Okay, so let's read today's verse, text 30. Amihana jane taha na jane gopigana. Well, I'll say that's a different. Anyway, Dunhara Rupa Gune Dunhara Nitya Haremana. Amiha na jahi taha na jane gopigana Dunhara Rupa Gune Dunhara Nitya Haremana. Translation and purport by His Divine Graces Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Okay, we're going to break the purport because it's the long one, almost 2 pages. So Srila Prabhupada says, in translation, neither the gopis nor I shall notice this, for our minds will always be entranced by one another's beauty and qualities. So we talked about Yoga Maya, how Yoga Maya is influencing the minds of the gopis, even though they are apparently, we can say apparently married, but they feel such a strong attraction towards Krishna. It's funny, I was just hearing, and I think we mentioned this, how Radharani became attracted to Krishna. Did I say that? No? Really? Okay, maybe now when I say it, maybe you'll recollect. So then she never saw Krishna before. I did say that. No? Maybe in some other class. Just before she met Krishna. So she heard the flute. So she heard the flute, and then she became extremely attracted to the flute player. Just by hearing the flute. Of course, we know flute, it's just that sound, it's just inconceivable sound. It's the sound that it's irresistible sound. Just everything melts and everything, what it's liquid hardens and everything changes its properties. It's just inconceivable sound. We know when we hear certain sounds, right? How it affects our consciousness, how it affects our emotions. Sound is so powerful. So, but the most powerful sound is the sound of Krishna's flute, which is directly addressing us. It's absolutely personal, and it also affects us in such a way that we completely just really melt in ecstasy. So that's Krishna's flute. So she heard about Krishna's flute, and she was so attracted. Of course, everybody, there's no one who is not attracted. But Radharani was so attracted, and she said, wow, who is that person? And then she heard about Krishna. Krishna is like this, Krishna is like that, so many different kinds of things. And then she became attracted. She said, oh, I'm attracted to that person also. And then Lalita brought a drawing of Krishna. She said, this is Krishna, like in Trimbanga Lalita form. This is Krishna. And then she became so attracted to that drawing, and then she felt, oh, I must be unchaste. I'm attracted to 3 different personalities. She was feeling like this, but it was all same one Krishna. It's funny. So Krishna is so attractive, just by hearing about him, seeing him, hearing his flute. So the Rani was so attracted. So here the gopis are very attracted to Krishna. And under influence of Yoga Maya, they will do anything just to have association of Krishna. So now it is stated here that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking. He said that, Krishna is talking. So neither the gopis nor I shall notice this, for our minds will always be entranced by one another's beauty and qualities. So they are so intoxicated with each other that they will not notice anything else. They will not notice Yoga Maya. They will not notice that it's a change of position. It's a change of position. We have certain position that we are identifying with, but then in the spiritual life, this position is completely different. Like we talked about that. We have our constitutional position. What is our constitutional position? We are who we think right now that we are, but we also perform conditional position, but we also talk about constitutional position, and we perform constitutional activities like chanting, dancing in kirtan, taking prasadam. These are, like directly something that is in relationship to Krishna. That it's constitutional. That's something that we will be doing in the spiritual world, in the spiritual body. So there's no difference. So there is a different identity then. Now there is a different identity which we are trying to spiritualize, and then there is a different identity in the spiritual world, which is original, transcendental, absolute, eternal identity. So then sometimes in this conditional state, we are identifying with one position, and then sometimes we may get a glimpse of being identified with spiritual position. Like when you're in full ecstasy, sometimes trance in dancing, in kirtan, or we have some real deep spiritual experience. So like Krishna and gopis, of course, for them there is no question of such. This is just an analogy. But they also have certain kind of identity that everybody relates to them. But when they meet, then that identity is lost. Like what is Krishna's position? Usually we consider Krishna to be the absolute supreme personality of God, but gopis, they don't consider Krishna as such. Neither Krishna considers himself as such when he is with the gopis. So that will vanish, that will absolutely, by how does that disappear? By Krishna is saying, by hearing or being entranced by one another's beauty and qualities. So when they are hearing or seeing or experiencing their own beauty and qualities, then nothing else in the world is important. Nothing else in the world matters. Nothing else in the world exists. And we know when Krishna is dancing in Rasa Lila with the gopis, it's like it said that there is a moment is like yuga. And the yugas are like moment. There is no existence of time practically, because they're completely oblivious of the time. Because they're so absorbed within each other. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, in the spiritual sky, the Vaikuntha planets are predominated by Narayana. His devotees have the same features he does. And the exchange of devotion there is on the platform of reverence. But above all these Vaikuntha planets is Goloka, or Krishna Loka, where the original personality of Godhead, Krishna, fully manifests his pleasure potency in free loving affairs. Since the devotees in the material world know almost nothing about these affairs, the Lord desires to show these affairs to them. So what is our usual conception of God? It's God is great, God is untouchable, God is all perfect, God is God is master, full of opulences, everybody subservient to him, he's not subservient to anyone else. But Krishna wants to show the other aspect to us. Krishna wants to show that he is also subservient. He's subservient to his devotees. So he wants to present to us a little bit different conception. Now you may wonder why Krishna wants to present this different conception. We already discussed about that. Why is Krishna presenting this different conception of these loving affairs, very close, intimate affairs? Why Krishna decides, yes, he will come. And Krishna comes only once a day of Brahma. That's not often. That's very rare. I mean, once a day of Brahma. And whereas the rest of the time, the conception is that of awe and reverence. So then, for what reason Krishna comes here, and for what reason he decides to present this particular very intimate pastimes of his? Why he does that? Why he just doesn't leave us, thinking that yes, God is great and we just relate to him in such kind of manner? Why is that the case? Can anyone answer? Yes?
Probably because he wants us to be more intimate and enjoy it.
He wants us to become more intimate towards him. That's okay, but why? Why he wants to do that with us? Why he didn't do that before? Why he wouldn't do that afterwards? Why with us? We discussed that actually. I will what's going on? So anyway, I agree with that. That's some automatic something.
Yes, yeah. Oh.
Why is this going on? Huh?
Is it happened?
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, now again. Okay, I
Maybe
figured out.
next time I'll see.
Huh? Why is that so? Why Krishna comes to present? We're talking about his pastimes. We were talking about his intimate pastimes. And I'm repeating because many of you must, you have not heard about it, because I didn't see you not on that class. I'm just emphasizing it again, because it is a very important point. Okay, well,
To attract us.
to attract us. Why would he want to attract us? Many people are not attracted. They don't like that kind of idea of intimacy with God.
Based on our bhakti and devotion.
Based on our bhakti and devotion, yes, that's pretty good. Yeah, we're getting closer.
Because I addicted that class.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to churn things out. Yeah.
You told that in this sampradaya there is Sakya and Madhurya as devotees come.
Okay, there are different sampradayas, there are different rasas, relationships with Krishna. But one thing we concluded, we said that we must have had that relationship already. That's the point. We appear here in this world with, yes, definitely certain contamination, certain conditionings, but we had original relationship in the spiritual world with Krishna. And that's why Krishna again presents something to attract us to our original position. Otherwise, why would he do that? And why would we be attracted if we were not attracted earlier? Of course, we could be attracted, but still we might think, I'm satisfied in my own position. Why would I venture into something different, something else? Because we are fully satisfied in any relationship that originally we have with Krishna. So then why such kind of more intimate and close relationship? And once you're, like we said, the glass is full till the brim, there's nothing more to look for. So if you're fully satisfied, like, okay, now we're talking about Lord Ramachandra, last few days, and so like Hanuman is in Dasya Bhav. Would Hanuman be interested in Madhurya Bhav or something like this? No, absolutely not. He's fully satisfied in his Dasya Bhav. So he's absolutely perfectly situated. So that's why Krishna wouldn't appear to Hanuman, but Lord Ramachandra would appear to Hanuman. Like we know the story of, there are many instances in Lord Ramachandra's life. There are some aboriginal ladies, there are some queens, there are in few instances, and then of course there are very famous sages of Dandakaranya that felt very, very strong attraction towards Lord Ramachandra. Intimate attraction. And then he responded saying that not in this incarnation, when I come next time as Krishna, then then we can have that kind of relationship. So they had to wait, and then they appeared as gopis or manjaris, and then they had that relationship, very close, intimate relationship. Otherwise, Krishna wouldn't manifest it. So that means that we must have had certain kind of already closer relationship with Krishna. And for that reason, we are presented with such kind of information in the first place. And then we may feel such kind of attraction because we already had it. Otherwise, we wouldn't. So that's why in this Sampradaya, yes, we discuss mostly different kinds of dealings, primarily in Sakya and Madhurya, not Vatsalya, Madhurya Bhav, Madhurya mood. So that's why Krishna comes, he presents this, he fully manifests this pleasure potency of free loving affairs. Since the devotees in the material world know almost nothing about those. So Krishna comes with that intention to present these particular pastimes, to again attract his devotees, to again attract them back to the spiritual world. That means some of those then, or hopefully maybe some of us, are pretty much close to achieving such kind of position. In a sense of this, we are set on the path. We are set on the path, and then let's see how far do we go. That's up to us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that inconsiderately he's presenting this highest, most intimate, most confidential knowledge and information to us. So that's why we have to be very cautious when we come across such kind of information. Like last time we discussed, we shouldn't mistake it for some kind of mundane affairs, mundane lusty affairs. These are the most highest and exalted topics and very, very intimate topics about the Supreme Personality of God, and therefore they have to be presented in the most appropriate manner from the most purest personalities. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave us Krishna book. He gave us the Krishna book in which he explains those different dealings in a very appropriate manner, so that they will be clear to us how to understand it properly. So Krishna wants to present this, yes. So then he comes in original form as Krishna, manifesting, his pleasure potency, so that we can know about those pastimes. So in Golok Vrindavan, there is an exchange of love known as Parakya Rasa. It is something like attraction of a married woman for a man other than her husband. In material world, this sort of relationship is most abominable because it is perverted reflection of the Parakya Rasa in the spiritual world, where it is the highest kind of loving affair. Somebody just told me today. Kanish, did you said something about 70% something? Yeah. You want to tell that to everyone? You want to share? What did you say? Where did you get that information?
One famous lady, she was talking about the kind of toxic feminism is growing all over India, especially India. So in that, she presented one survey which happened recently, and she mentioned that 70% ladies, married ladies, they have connection with another man. 70%. In that 70%, 40% ladies who have connection with another man, they were saying that why we do this, because our husband not helping us in our household work. That's why we did out. The 70% did.
Yeah, okay, well, whatever the reason is, but that is the information. whatever percentage, whatever it's prominent that is going on in this modern material society. So it's just like that, but that's considered the most abominable, perverted reflection of us. In the spiritual world, it's different. It's different because so-called husbands of the gopis are actually all extensions of Krishna, extension of Krishna. So there is nothing inappropriate. That's the most primary thing to be understood. And then, of course, originally Acharyas explained all the gopis were actually married to Krishna because Krishna expanded himself in the form of so many coward boys, which were actually taken away by Brahma and hidden for 1 year. So they were all married to Krishna and his different expansions as those coward boys. So that kind of attraction, we talked about it last time also. Purnamasi, she doesn't really want Krishna. Everybody else wants that because that would inhibit their relationship. Because once you're locked, once you're kind of, there is certain possessive mentality. There's certain boundaries, and it's like certain restriction is there, and it's not anymore as adventurous as it used to be, because it's like, okay, now I possess. Like sometimes you get, and then okay, now I have it, and that's it. Now I can do with it whatever I want. But we know in Parakya Bhav, then you don't have that feeling of possessiveness, and you always feel that I can lose this every moment, any moment. So that's why gopis know any moment Krishna may leave. Krishna also knows gopis can also, leave. So both of them, or all of them, are very, very cautious. How do they deal? They have a lot of respect. They have a lot of anticipation. They have a lot of regard towards each other in that sense. And that separation is very, very extreme. So it's a whole different relationship. It's a whole different relationship than than those relationships that Krishna has with queens of Dwarka, for example. That is Swakya. Yeah. So Parakya is something different. So but it's not like here again. Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing again. This is second purport. Prabhupada is emphasizing. It's not like here in this material world. Such feelings between the devotee and the Lord are presented by the influence of Yoga Maya. So this is again how is that manifested? Because Yoga Maya is influencing both Krishna and his devotees to have such kind of, as they're acting in a certain different position, but then by the influence of Yoga Maya, she manifests, inspires those kind of feelings towards Krishna. Thus, the devotees of the highest grade are under the care of Daivi Maya, or Yoga Maya. So that's a famous verse, Mahatmanas Tumam Bharta Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. Because that's interesting. We are never free. We are never really without any influence. We are always influenced. Always. Every moment. Now you're influenced. 1 hour ago you were influenced. A day ago, all the time you're influenced by someone or something. There's nothing that it's not influencing us. Like for example, now we are trying to influence you by some spiritual, or influence ourselves, by some spiritual information. No? So some hours and sights and sounds, you've been influenced, and all of that is absorbed, and then you start identifying with this. You think it's coming from me. No, it's not coming from you. It has been absorbed, from some source, somehow or other. So you've been influenced, even like this right now in this conditioned state, we're always yes, even more conditioned. We are influenced. So our only choice now again is whether we want to become influenced by spiritual or we are going to be influenced by material sounds, material sights, spiritual sounds, spiritual sights. What do we want to be influenced? And then based on that, we also create certain identity. Spiritual, it's going to purify us and recover our original identity. Material is going to cover us and make us identify in so many different kinds of ways that are very, very far from our original identity. So what do we want to become influenced by? What do we want to identify with? So in this material conditioning, therefore, this is pointed that we can choose to be influenced by Yoga Maya and develop such kind of attraction towards Krishna in a very intimate form. Or if we don't act in a spiritual manner, then definitely we will be influenced by the Yoga, by the Maha Maya. So which type of Maya do we want to become influenced by? That's only choice that we have. So either we want to be in Maha Maya, which we are pretty much now, being in illusion that we are very important and the whole world revolves around us, or we want to be influenced by Yoga Maya and try to develop a certain relationship with Krishna and serve Krishna. That's our only choice. There's no other choice. People talk about, we want to know what it means free will. There's no other free will. Free will is only coming closer to Krishna or getting farther away from Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada points out also, those who are actually great souls, Mahatmas, are fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, always engaged in the service of the Lord. That's why we give this example of an iron rod. No? When you have an iron rod, so you can put it in like now it's very cold. In Ayodhya, they said now some devotees went, it's pretty cold. It's like, they say they need 3-4 blankets nighttime and heater or something. It's very cold. So, but sometimes there are places which are really cold. It goes so many minus degrees, and there is a lot of ice outside. And now, if you would have placed iron in that ice, that iron would become ice. Or you leave that iron outside. You don't even put it. You don't have to put it in ice because it's so cold. So sometimes that iron, it's like, and it becomes like I know sometimes, remember, sometimes you catch something cold, like even ice. I mean, you may have experience, just, you grab the ice, it's like, it just kind of, it's like a glue. It just holds your practically your skin kind of glues to that. And you feel hot sensation, which is very interesting. It's so cold, but you feel hot sensation. So that iron becomes like an ice. It becomes cold, huh?
Yeah, you say hot sensation, that's dry ice.
Dry ice also, wet ice also, any ice. It's like you'll have that sensation. Maybe not for a long time, but initially at least. So if you place that iron in the fire, the example, then it will burn like a fire. So we are having that position. Here we are, in the fire. Here we are in the ice, cooled away from Krishna. This thing, the distant from Krishna. So this is our position. So therefore, Yoga Maya or Maha Maya. So Maya creates a situation in which the devotee is prepared to transgress all regulative principles, simply to love Krishna. So that's the test. That's requirement. And Krishna sometimes exercises this. He wants to see how much we are ready to sacrifice for him, how much we are ready to renounce, give up. What are we ready to do for Krishna? Sometimes that happens also in regular relationships. No, I guess sometimes that husband and wife also test each other, how much somebody is ready to sacrifice, to give up, to because it's not like just, it's not a verbal only, oh, I love you, or this and that. No, it has to be proved, no? It's not just like some kind of recording that keeps on going on. It has to be proved every day. Otherwise, it doesn't turn good, no? It has to be, it's a natural thing, it has to be proved. It has to be proved. So that testing, it's always going on, and that's something that enhances the relationship. So one has to prove, Krishna also wants to know like this. You cannot say, oh, Krishna, I love you, and then, just you do what you're doing about nothing. No, Krishna also wants to see, every day Krishna wants to see, okay, you love me, are you chanting my rounds? Are you doing some service? Are you sacrificing something for me? Are you doing some yagya, tapa, dana, vrata, whatever, this and that? What are you doing? It's not just, oh, Krishna, I love you, or something, and it's just some lip service. And Krishna's not. So one has to keep on proving, all the time, keep on proving. And that's always there, because it becomes mechanical. And it always has to be there. It always has to be established. And how is it established? Yes, that's what bhakti is all about. Bhakti means service. Some kind of sacrifice, some kind of expression of that love. So if there is really a love, then there has to be some kind of obvious expression of it. So devotee is prepared to transgress all regulative principles simply to love Krishna. So even to that extent, no obstacles, no boundaries, whatever Krishna wants. That's really, well, that's a devotional state. A devotee naturally doesn't like to transgress the laws of reverence for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but by the influence of Yoga Maya, he's prepared to do anything to love the Supreme Lord better. So sometimes we might be restricted considering certain moral principles or social principles or whatever it might be. But then if Yoga Maya wants us to be engaged in Krishna's service, then she will influence us or she will influence others. That's a deep topic now. It's like interesting how sometimes Yoga Maya covers. I'll speak one from my own personal experience. Once when I wanted to join the ashram, join the temple, then Yoga Maya covered my family members, and they couldn't figure out what's going on. And I won't go into details, I won't explain it, but it was very interesting, very interesting. And I said something that no sane person could ever, accept or understand, that it's, it's like, it's just something that is absolutely vague, unclear, unacceptable, pretty much, but whatever. But they agreed to it. They agreed to it. And how was that? As influence of the Yoga Maya. So when we decide to try to serve Krishna, as more intensely, that is, the more battery again. The more Yoga Maya will influence others and enable us to perform devotional service. So that's how Yoga Maya works. That's the influence of Yoga Maya. In so many instances we can see that. In so many instances. So that's why Yoga Maya, one is prepared to do anything to love the Supreme Lord better. So those under the spell of the material energy cannot at all appreciate the activities of Yoga Maya. See, that's very interesting. So that's why many times people say, oh, Krishna and Gopis, this and that. For a conditioned soul can hardly understand the pure reciprocation between the Lord and his devotee. So that's why we have to have information. We have to know who is Krishna, who are the Gopis. We cannot project our own material conditionings onto Krishna. That's something that's absolutely wrong. And then those who are very strict moralists of material life, they will find faults in Krishna. Of course, they can find fault anywhere and anyone. But they will also find it in Krishna because they don't understand who Krishna is. They don't understand who Gopis are. We already mentioned that earlier. So one will have a very great and grossest misconceptions about Krishna's position or the devotee's condition. So that's why they will not appreciate Yoga Maya. They'll not appreciate Yoga Maya. Then they will find the faults. They'll think mundane morality is more important than serving Krishna. So by executing devotional service under the regulative principles, one can become very highly elevated and then begin to appreciate the dealings of pure love under the management of Yoga Maya. Of course, then by performing devotional service, a lot of things will become revealed to us. A lot of misconceptions that we have, a lot of coverings of anarthas, unwanted things will become removed. And then we will start to understand the real position, because that's what it means, sambandha. What is sambandha? It's relationship. So when we are clear about our sambandha, we are clear about Krishna's sambandha, then we can act upon it and go for the prayojana, the highest goal. Otherwise, if we are not clear about sambandha, how will we ever appreciate the higher goal in relationship to Krishna, especially such kind of intimate dealings? So when we start performing devotional service, then that will crystallize, then that will become clear. Yeah, that will become revealed to us. Okay, I'm gonna hurry up a little bit. I just try to complete the purport here. Time is running. In the spiritual loving sentiment induced by the Yoga Maya potency, both Lord Krishna and the damsels of Raja forget themselves in a spiritual rapture. By the influence of such forgetfulness, the attractive beauty of the gopis plays a prominent part in the transcendental satisfaction of the Lord, who has nothing to do with the mundane sex, because spiritual love of Godhead is above everything mundane. The gopis superficially seem to transgress the codes of mundane morality. This perpetually puzzles mundane moralists. Therefore, Yoga Maya acts to cover the Lord and his pastimes from the eyes of mundaners, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says that he receives the right not to be exposed to everyone. So that's why even Bhagavad Gita and the scripture, it's an open secret. It's available to everyone, but it's a secret. You cannot understand the essence of it, that rahasya, unless you are performing devotional service, unless you become a devotee of Krishna. Krishna will not reveal. And therefore, those who have that kind of mundane vision and judge everything by mundane morality, they will never understand Krishna. They can never understand Krishna. And then they remain bound to this material world. Just like we know, Arjuna had so many mundane arguments not to perform his duty. But Krishna spoke from the higher platform and convinced Arjuna, yes, this is what it should be done for your benefit and benefit of everybody else. This is what we don't understand. We think mundane morality is for our benefit. No, mundane morality is not for our benefit. Yes, it is when there is no Krishna, but when there is Krishna who sets the principles of morality, dharmams tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, who gives bhagavat pranitam, dharma, who gives the dharma? Bhagavat, Krishna gives the dharma. Paritranaya sadhana vinasha chadushkitam, dharma samstapanartha, samstapak, who is setting the dharma? Krishna is setting the dharma. So when Krishna says you go against the dharma, that is the highest dharma. That's the whole point. Let's say, like sometimes here in India, the traffic lights don't work so well. And then sometimes you have a red light always, being on. It doesn't change to yellow or green or something else. No, it's always red. And then you would have to wait for a long time, no? If you want to follow all this and cross, and then there is a traffic policeman or something, and he tells you, no, you cross the street, and then you start arguing, no, I won't cross because it's a red light. You want to present yourself as the greatest moralist, no? You're following very good citizen, you're following rules and this, and he tells you, I'm telling you, you cross this. No, it's a red, and then what can be done? What can be done? But if you learn how to listen, who is setting? He's representing government. He's setting all this thing. He knows it doesn't work properly. He's telling you, you go and cross now. No, but you are greater, that he is or whatever. Then what can be done? So we have to learn how to follow. When Krishna says this is dharma, then we follow this is dharma. But then we have to understand also properly, because sometimes many things may become misused as well. That's why we have Guru Parampara and have to, as we already pointed out, hear in a proper disciplic succession what is to be done and what is to be understood. So Krishna reserves the right not to be exposed to everyone. Why would he be exposed to those who blaspheme him? Why would he be exposed to those who are envious of him? Why would he expose? We never expose. Do we expose our any intimate feelings or position or anything to anyone who will use it against us? No, why would we do that? Only a fool would have been doing it. You don't say this. You know how people, especially in business or this and that, you reveal something it will be misused against you. Or people against Krishna will just keep on blaspheming more. So Krishna reserves rights not to be exposed. Why would he? So he reveals those essences only to his pure devotees. So the acts of Yoga Maya make it possible for the Lord and the gopis in loving ecstasy to sometimes meet and sometimes separate. These transcendental loving affairs of the Lord are unimaginable to empiricists involved in the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, the Lord himself appears before the mundaners to bestow upon them the highest form of spiritual realization and also personally relish its essence. So the Lord is so merciful that he himself descends to take the fallen souls back home to the kingdom of God, where the erotic principles of Godhead are already relished in their real form, distinct from the perverted sexual love so much adored and indulged in by the fallen souls in their diseased condition. The reason the Lord displays the Rasa Lila is essentially to induce all the fallen souls to give up their diseased morality and religiosity and to attract them to the kingdom of God to enjoy the reality. A person who actually understands what the Rasa Lila is will certainly hate to in sex life. Souls hearing through the proper channel will result in complete abstinence from the material sexual pleasure. Very interesting. That's why we see the greatest acharyas, they would talk about Krishna and gopis, but they themselves would be extremely strict in their position. And that's why also it is said, Krishna book, hearing about Krishna's pastimes from the proper source in a proper manner will destroy the lust in our heart. Very interesting. It will destroy the lust. So we have to hear it from the proper source. Whereas if it's not, then it will increase it. Because then hearing about Krishna and his position, then just projecting our own content will increase the lust. So that's why we have to hear it in the proper source. And then we can develop even more taste towards devotional life and towards that kind of relationship towards Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop here. Time is running. Any questions on this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes, could you please explain this sentence? I could not really understand. It's about the reason the Lord displays the Ras Leela is essentially to induce all the fallen souls to give up their deceased morality.
Yes, because all the conditioned souls are covered by the last condition, by the last. So when they're presented with such kind of appropriate lusty feelings, that's the transcendental lust, that it's only directed towards Krishna, then they can become liberated actually and come back to Krishna. So that's why Krishna wants to induce us. That's the most effective way and most powerful way for the conditioned souls not to become conditioned anymore. Is that okay?
To not become conditioned, in the mundane way.
Yes, so that mundane lust becomes purified because the karma becomes prema when one develops love for Krishna. So karma transforms into prema. It's the same thing, it's the same quality, but it's perverted in the material realm, where it's purified in original form in the spiritual realm. So when we hear about these pastimes, we revive that original purity. And when we don't hear from the proper source or we indulge in material, such kind of whatever hearing, then we increase that lust, we become more bound in the material realm. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to know about Mahamaya. Why does it take away from Krishna?
Okay, Mahamaya takes us away from Krishna. Just simple, like this parda, curtain. So it said she acts like this. When we become offensive towards Krishna, she just, okay, you don't want Krishna, you're envious of Krishna, okay, there is no Krishna, it just covers, okay.
But even when we practice devotion,
Okay, even when we practice devotion.
Sometimes also that we get influenced.
Sometimes we become, that's always, it's according to our desire. Any moment we have that choice, even when we practice. So we can always exercise the choice. It's not like sometimes I am devotee and then from now on I will just be acting as a devotee. No, we always have a choice to choose Maya rather than Krishna. So we have to be extremely careful. And that happens in the initial stages more than in later stages. That choice is there, but in later stages of more advanced devotion, one doesn't exercise that choice. It becomes fully focused and fixed and transfixed in Krishna. So the more we advance, the less attracted and distracted by Maya we will become.
But in everyday regular life, we have so many things throughout the day.
Yes, so we are involved with so many things during the day, so many material things. So that's why we have to charge our consciousness in the morning, earliest in the morning, chanting in the morning, having some program, and then become, exposed to anything else, something material, whatever it is. So then, if we are fully inoculated like this, then we won't be affected. Then we will be affecting others. So we have to charge ourselves spiritually. Yes.
So you mentioned that like Bhagavad Gita is present out there, it is quite accessible to people. But then Krishna can only reveal himself, or you can only be connected to Krishna only if you are devotee, a full devotee. But then also if you read Bhagavad Gita before being a devotee, Bhagavad Gita still helps you in.
No, Bhagavad Gita, the point is to have proper mentality. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and Bhagavad and his words. It's the same thing. So according to our approach, Krishna reveals himself. It's not making distinction. Before I was devotee and now I'm devotee. It doesn't matter. It's about our attitude. So as we approach, with the interest to know something, to find out something, Krishna will reveal himself. Approach Krishna to also will always the matters of attitude. Okay, so we'll stop here. So Prabhupada ki jai, Chaitanya ki jai,